If you have a six-pack and you weigh less than 190 pounds, I hate to break it to you, but that shit doesn't count. When you got tiny-ass shoulders, tiny-ass arms, no intimidation factor whatsoever.
Yeah, so this is bro from the video right here. No, he doesn't have a six-pack at all.
If you're an adult male under 200 pounds, that's victim weight. And I'll say that lightly because I'm not a violent person. But let's just say something happens and you got to defend yourself. What the hell are you going to do at 150 pounds? Either get in the gym and eat more or take a steroid, do whatever you got to do to get some size. And I'm not saying become a bodybuilder, but a grown man should have some presence to him. And that alone brings a full circle to my last video. How you look is how you feel.
If you're 175 pounds or less as a man, that's what we refer to as victim weight. You know, in any and all situations, you're entirely hopeless. You're the victim. And some people seem to think that having a gun makes you less of a victim. Let's be honest here. You're not going to shoot anybody. And if you do, you run the risk of going to jail for the rest of your life. And then you can enjoy being in jail at victim weight without a gun. Other people seem to think that training mixed martial arts is going to get you out of that victim category. No, not at all.
Are you victim weight? For the longest, man, I felt like I needed to be 200 pounds. Then I started getting a little closer. I was like 193, 194. And I said, this doesn't make sense for me. I feel better when I'm lighter. I look better and I move better. Now I'm about 185 and I feel great. I'm 6 foot 185. This makes sense for me. So I always find it very foolish when people come online and they say, oh, you got to hit this. You got to hit this number. They just neglect everything else. Oh, you got to hit this number. I'm naturally on the thinner side. I'm naturally a lighter guy. I'm not a guy with a big appetite. I'm not a guy that just puts on mass easily. I was a hard gainer. For me, 185 makes a lot of sense. And what makes the most sense for you is going to depend on your genetics, how you're built. Some guys can be 5'11", 200 pounds and hold that weight well. But that's not most people, man. 90% of guys, it doesn't make sense for you to be 200 pounds. And don't get it fucked up and think just because you a mass monster, just because you got some weight behind you, that you can fight, that you can hold your own, that you can have an amazing presence. Because the last gym I went to, the dude that ran the gym, he was probably 5'8", 140 pounds. Maybe 145 at most. Smaller guy. But he had a presence to himself, and he would whoop my ass, and he would whoop anybody's ass in this video. I'll probably whoop anybody's ass in this video. They doing all that talking because like, oh, I'm 200 pounds, so y'all can't fuck. Nah, don't get it messed up, man. Don't get it fucked up. You can get fucked up and be 220, 230 pounds and run into a guy that's 140 and he will put you on your ass. I promise you. You seen the video. Recently, Larry Wills, he was grappling with guys 100 pounds lighter than him. And they had that boy twisted up like a pretzel. So don't get it messed up, man. Now, I will say when you do have more size behind you, people are less likely to try you. People will be more intimidated by it. But don't think just because you got size that you can fight, because that's not true whatsoever. And I think some people, they try to act like size doesn't matter at all. It does play a role. But at the same time, it's not the end all be all. It's not that significant. Especially a lot of these bodybuilder guys, especially a lot of these guys that lift, they don't work on their mobility at all. They're not fluid with it, man. They don't know how to really flow. So everything is super stiff with their movements. This actually makes me think of another thing that happened at the boxing gym. So one of my young homies, he had got in the boxing gym. He might have been in the boxing gym for like a month. Not that long. And we at the gym lifting weights. Another dude at the boxing gym comes up to the younger homie and he's like, I want to box you. And he points at me. He's like, you look good though. I don't want to mess with you. So he go box the younger homie. Bro, my homie was tearing this man up and I said, that's what he gets. See, he thought because little buddy was smaller, little buddy ain't that tall, he not that big, that he was just going to have his way with him. But then he was really putting in paws on him. And he found out the hard way. Okay, you trying to go easy. You went for the smaller guy, and then he really gave your ass that work. So don't get it screwed up, man. Some of the baddest men on the planet are short, are lightweight. And don't think that you need to be some big dude. Like, you got to be huge to have a certain presence about yourself. Like, one dude, the dude said, whatever you got to do, if you got to take steroids, go take steroids. It's like, bro, that's terrible advice. Because, you go take them steroids, now your skin don't look as good. Now you look a little puffy. That's going to take away from your presence. If you got lean, if you had a chiseled jawline, If you had that V taper, you wouldn't have to be the biggest guy in the room. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to get big, but let's not shame guys for getting lean, for being healthy. Because I've seen this so many times where guys, they'll get big, they never get lean, and then they hate on the guys for getting lean. I had a video probably 4 years ago that kind of went viral on TikTok. I used to like post videos where it'd be me working out and then it would switch onto a clip of somebody that was like, I'm like motivational talking. And I remember one of these videos, it blew up. And I seen so many comments where guys were like, bro, you're only like 170 pounds. You're like 180 pounds. This doesn't matter. Yeah, you might have abs, but you're like 140 pounds. Like, people were like talking shit to me because I was lean. They're like, you're not even 200 pounds though, bro. Like, and my reaction was like, okay, yeah, I think at the time I was 180, but I lift more than you. And then I just posted clips of me doing incline bench. And they didn't respond to it. And I'm not surprised. But realize that, man, a lot of these boys, they can't get their ass in gear. They can't get lean. It's too tough for them. So now they trying to shame people for not being heavy. That's what it is. That's what it is 9 times out of 10. It's guys that they aren't willing to put in the work. So now they trying to move the goalpost and say, actually, y'all are lightweight. Actually, y'all really don't have it going on. It doesn't make sense for most men to be 200 pounds. So that shouldn't even be a goal you're chasing. I promise you, man, when you're lean, now, there's a point of diminishing returns. You don't need to be single-digit body fat. But when you get lean, you're going to look better. Your face is going to look better. You're going to feel better, and you're going to move better. I don't like when people come online and they start talking that goofy stuff, man. Because I bet you none of these guys have really fought for real. Because I promise you, the last boxing gym I went to, he would whoop all these dudes' ass, and he's 140 pounds. And it wouldn't even be a close fight. It wouldn't even be a close fight. And I know some guys, well, Cole, if they grapple him, and you ain't going to get a chance to grapple him. Them hands going to be too fast. Like Togi talking about, oh, I don't care what you do with your paws. Hey, it only going to take one hit. It only going to take 1 or 2 punches. He going to bing, 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 and you done for it. And I don't think people, I seen one stat where they say the average man like overestimates his fighting ability like crazy. And this is very true. Me, myself, man, before I got in the boxing gym, I really thought I was going to hold my own. Then I got in there. First time I got in the boxing gym, I think a 17-year-old, he was planting them paws on me. I had damn near no experience. But I was feeling them punch. I'm like, damn, bro, it's like 16, 17. Giving my ass to work. And I say, like, if you do get into a gym, you want to ease into it, bro. Don't jump in and you trying to go into the deep end. Because you in for a rude awakening. But I remember I probably had 20 pounds on this dude. And I had like 4 or 5 years of age on him. So I'm thinking, oh, this finna be light work. And he was putting them paws on me. So don't get it fucked up, man. Like, just because you big, that doesn't mean you can fight. Is it an advantage? Yes, but see, a lot of these guys, they don't even know how to use their advantage. Or a lot of these guys like Larry Wills, they're big for nothing, bro. They can't move good. If you stiff, even if you got a whole bunch of muscle, your punches ain't gonna have power behind them because you don't even know how to turn into them. You don't know how to let your body flow. You don't know how to relax, so you're holding all this tension, so your punches are weak, your movements are slow, and everything is super predictable. So don't think because you walk around like this that you can fuck everybody up, because you in for a rude awakening. Looks can be deceiving. So realize that, man, and that's why I always encourage guys, like, get uncomfortable, man, because sometimes you need to get humble to build yourself back up. Going to the boxing gym first, that shit humbled me. I'm all gassed out of breath. You got someone younger than you, low-key whooping your ass. That's going to humble you, and then you build yourself back up. But see, a lot of these guys that never been humble, they never put themselves in an uncomfortable situation, so they come online, they talking out their ass, and if they were to hit any type of combat sport and be talking all crazy like that, they would be in for a rude awakening. They would get humbled just like Larry Wills got humbled. And I think we need more of that. We need some people to get humbled out here, man, because these boys are talking crazy. You can have a presence to yourself without being 200 pounds. Even when I think of a massive presence, I think of guys like Conor McGregor. You think of Floyd Mayweather. And if you don't want to do actual fighters, even Michael B. Jordan, he got a certain presence to himself. And Michael B. Jordan isn't 200 pounds. So I don't even know why. Where do we get this number from where you got to be 200 pounds? It's goofy, man. When you look at the people doing it on the biggest stage, the people with the biggest influence, A lot of these guys aren't huge. And a lot of guys that are huge, they're on steroids, man. And I really encourage you guys to stay away from all that shit, man. You do not need to go down that path. Like the dude saying, whatever you got to do to get big, do it. Like that's some cornball, that's some lame shit, bro. Because there's going to be a lot of cons to that as well. And you felt like you needed to get 200 pounds for what? I feel great at 185. I look great. I feel great. I move great. Yeah, you know, I'd say the only downside to being very lean, if you don't have that much size, sometimes you really got to go out your way to get clothes that hug you. You know, you gotta really find clothes that hug a little bit. Now, you can't go overboard. Some dudes, they shirts be too tight. But when you bigger, them dudes can be wearing a loose shirt and they still look big in it. When you super lean, it's kind of harder to show off the muscle. Like, if people see me in person and I'm wearing a baggy shirt, they might look at me like, bro, he got a decent physique, but he don't lift like that. But if I'm showing more skin, that's why I catch a lady staring more. That's when people like, damn, bro, you big. So I'd say that's the only downside, bro. But it's like, it's the summertime anyways. You can pop off your shirt. You at the beach, you at the pool. That's when you're going to look bigger. When you get lean, you look bigger, bro. Your muscles are showing because you don't have a whole bunch of fat covering them. If you was a guy 5'7", 5'8", trying to be 200 pounds, you're going to have a lot of fat on you. And even if you do have muscle, it's not going to show. You're not going to look that big. It's not going to be that impressive. So don't believe the bullshit, bro. You do not have to be 200 pounds. People can think, oh, that's victim weight. Hey, they can find out the hard way. But there's a lot, most of the baddest men on the planet ain't 200 pounds. Point blank, period. I'm not saying that fighting, that size doesn't play a role. But see, most of these guys with the size and the reach advantage, they don't know how to use this shit anyway. So it really doesn't matter. But man, that's all I got. Let me know what y'all think, man. I think that's a whole bunch of lame, just goofy stuff. And I think a lot of guys, they struggle to lose the weight. They struggle to get disciplined and really get dialed in. So now they just point fingers at the guys that do that and say, oh, but you're like victim weight. You're only 160, you're only 170 pounds. But it's like, that probably makes the most sense for you. 160 pounds, 150 pounds. If you're short, 150 pounds might make sense for you. 170 pounds might make sense for you. Like most guys, 200 pounds doesn't make sense for you. Point blank, period. Unless you're close to 6 foot, being 5'9", 200 pounds, it probably doesn't make sense for you. Point blank, period, man. But that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't. And I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.